stories kind of circulating today, gents, is that Chelsea are now in and seriously looking at Gabriel Jesus. What's really intriguing about this story kind of over the last 24 hours coming out, we had Ben Jacob on the show yesterday who said Arsenal was still leading the race. Arsenal was still there. But Arsenal have managed to convince City to drop the asking price from near on 50 million down to the low 40s. The problem with that is it's now attracted other suitors, Real Madrid being one, Chelsea being another. Gabriel Jesus in, Lukaku out. What you saying, Have Hope?
You see, here's the thing. I mean, I think the whole Lukaku love affair needs to be ended, though. Although, if we get the Us, I don't know. But yeah, look, Jesus. Here's the thing. What's the point in getting Jesus if we have bricks in midfield who don't know how to create? So Jesus, you can't get Jesus as your main striker, expected to give you 20 to 25 goals. I'm sure David will agree that Jesus only works if the support system around him works. Jesus looks good in Brazil because he's got Neymar, he's got Coutinho, he's got all these guys around him. But if you're not putting Jesus in there with Mason Mount, who creates one chance every 3,000 years, and so forth, where are his goals going to come from? So Jesus only makes sense if the team makes sense. So with how Chelsea are currently constructed and so forth, there's no point in getting a Jesus. There's no point, you know. Although before I go to David, what I'll say though is Jesus may make sense because he is a better version of what that clown Timo Werner is, because he's mobile, he's direct, he can run, he can get onto through balls. Werner actually gets in goal scoring opportunities because he's fast and quick. It's just that he's brain dead, so he doesn't know what to do in those like key areas, man. But it has to be Jesus plus other players as well.
That's the thing, because Jesus, he's not a striker. Like the thing is, he's got good movement. He's just not like, he doesn't play striker for City very often.
He plays striker for Brazil though.
No, he used to play striker for Brazil. When they won the Copa America, he was playing right wing, and he's been 2018 World Cup. He is the reason why my team did not get to that final, because Brazil only played well when he came off and Firmino came on, or he went wide and Firmino came on.
But did you see him put the ball through Kompany's legs, though? He put the ball through Kompany's legs. That was a penalty. Man.
Listen, put him on the right. That's the thing. So I think he can replace Werner or do that role. If you play the same formation and you have those two, whatever, you have 10s behind the striker, cool, he can do that, drift wide, whatever. But if you're going to have your main number 9, Jesus, yeah, you might finish behind us.
God forbid that man ends up as my top striker.
He's just a smaller Lukaku. He's just a smaller Lukaku.
Tom, stop it.
No, he's the most underperforming striker in the Premier League. Honestly, this guy should literally have 20 goals in 3 Premier League seasons. He underperformed XG by 8 goals in 1 season. Do you know how tough that is? Do you actually understand how difficult that is? Timo Werner's, he has a worse finishing season than Timo Werner's worst finishing season in the Premier League. That's how. Mate. That's not as my main striker. No, can I? If we get rid of if we get rid of a Ziyech, right, and then we brought in a Jesus, I could sort of see that, because when he goes on the wing, he's a bit more effective. He can create a little bit and so on and so forth. But if he ends up being my main striker, we're finishing 3rd or 4th again.
Mate, I don't get why. He works for Arsenal because Arsenal don't have anyone who scores. They don't have a designated main goal scorer. Chelsea's issue is their striker doesn't score goals. So you're looking at a striker who, if you take away Watford at home this season, got 4 goals in 27 Premier League appearances. 4. He's got double figures twice in, I think it's 6 seasons.
There was one season where he scored 14 goals and everyone was like, "Oh, he's really good." He should have scored 22 that year.
Oh, mate, it is shocking. Gabriel Jesus, he is a fantastic backup for a top 6 team or a Leicester striker. That is his level. He doesn't have what the top teams need in a striker. He doesn't have that killer instinct. If a half chance fell to Gabriel Jesus, I'd back him putting it out for a throw in more than I'd back him putting it in the net. That's the issue with him.
If he's not good enough for City to win the league, he ain't good enough for Chelsea to catch City. Let's get it right. City are getting rid of him and buying Haaland.
Perfectly put.
Chelsea
it's a bad move.
Catch Haaland, you can't do that. You have
It's a bad move.
Yeah.
Okay, but let me ask. Okay,
get him. But as you said, HH, get someone else.
And
Is
You can't just get him alone.
he a good enough signing though as well? For like Chelsea's links to him have been few days have been here. Nazer Cancella has kind of confirmed the links. The story's picking up pace, and it may be a case of if they get rid of, they might be bringing him in alongside someone else. Is he even good enough for Arsenal in that regard? Because Arsenal obviously trying to get back into the top four. They're trying to win trophies. Will he work there, or is it still a case of he's not going to be good enough at Arsenal, City, at all? Or is that different because Arsenal are in a different position to Chelsea?
Terry, I really do feel that Arsenal is a really good move for him. Because, again, this is what I said about players. Especially in a World Cup year as well. Go to a team that suits your profile of player. I think Chelsea are still going to stick with this whole back three, pragmatic thing. So if you just put Jesus in this situation, I'm not sure it suits him. You look at how Arsenal play. It's fast. It's direct. They keep moving the ball forward, and they want to just hit the space, so it's quicker. That suits Jesus. How City played did not suit Jesus. How Chelsea play will not suit Jesus, especially with his body in Martinelli there as well. I think that's setup and so forth suits Jesus well. The issue with Arsenal is that Arteta is trash. That's still the you're not doing anything without that guy's he's an ethical merchant. So it is what it is. But you put Jesus in that situation, it works for Arsenal.
It works for Arsenal because Arsenal have this weird obsession with this striker that doesn't score goals. They've done it with Lacazette. That they're going to try and carry it on with Jesus because they want Martinelli on the left and Saka on the right to be the main goal scorers.
Tom, Lacazette, really? You're comparing Jesus to Lacazette, really?
Yeah.
Tom, don't do that.
What's he done differently to Lacazette?
Lacazette is horrible, bro.
And is Jesus much better?
I'll take Jesus over Lacazette.
Come on, Tom. What are we saying, man?
You take him, but is he actually like that
Is
much
he that
better?
much better? No.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think
in the right team, and system, Jesus is much better.
Mate, you can't get more right team than Manchester City. They put chances on plate for any single player.
Come on, football is more complex than that and so forth. The way in which they play and operate is totally different from how, let's say, Arsenal or Liverpool play. That system and so forth did not suit the kind of guy that Jesus was. Jesus, I think, would work better at Arsenal. I'm not saying Jesus is like a 30-goal scorer or so forth, but I'm just saying that the way Arsenal play will suit Jesus more, and you are smoking crack cocaine. And you're sniffing Scontariga if you're comparing lack of threat to Jesus. Come on, don't do that, man.
I'll happily compare them. I think Jesus
City
is better
talks,
than
you're a clown. Go back to your mom's basement. So
I'll happily compare Lacazette to Jesus because I don't see much difference. I think Jesus is better, and I think he will be better. But if you put Jesus in that Arsenal team, he will do the exact same things Lacazette done, just slightly better, which is not what Arsenal need.
Well,
Arsenal needs something different.
Jesus is a far better player than Lacazette. I don't think either of them are good enough as a striker, as a number 9, the focal point. But what Arsenal want next season, i.e., to finish 4th, to get into the Champions League, maybe to win the Europa League, Jesus is a better fit than Lacazette because as unclinical, if that's the right word, as both of them are, he's a better goal scorer. His movement's better. His instinct is better. His finishing is leaves a lot to be desired. But I think he'll be a good signer. He'll be a very good signer for Arsenal. Who else could Arsenal sign? That's the difference. Chelsea can sign Nkunku. Chelsea can sign a Darwin Núñez. Arsenal can't sign those, so they have to go for I
agree. I think he'll score goals at Arsenal. I think he will. I don't even think there's as much pressure at Arsenal anymore as there is Chelsea, as there is Man City, as there is Liverpool. I think the standards have dropped slightly. Like they'd be more than happy next year. I think most Arsenal fans next season with the club would be more than happy if they played slightly better football, scored more goals, got more points, pushed hard for that top 4, had a good cup run. They may say we want more than that, but by the looks of it, I think most Arsenal fans would kind of settle for that. And I think that's Gabriel Jesus' level, and I think he'll be a good signing for them. There's no doubt about it. City system doesn't allow for a single goal scorer.
So then I get that point, but then why is Riyad Mahrez, Raheem Sterling, and Phil Foden, who all played in his position last season, outscored him? They've all played in the same positions. They've all outscored him.
Why is he just missing chances?
No, I hear that. Chelsea fan here says, I hope I'm wrong, but Chelsea probably won't get a DM. That's a disgrace. Marina, what are you doing? We will struggle without one. Without one, our midfield is so imbalanced.
Terry, no. Terry, do you know what is disgusting? Terry, do you know what is disgusting? And I hope this isn't true, but David, I think this might be true. Do you know this clown of a club could have gotten Tchouaméni for like 40 million, but instead they opted for Saul, who literally siphoned off money and did nothing, and now is not going to go back to Athletic.
But there are reasons for that.
David, what are the reasons?
The reasons, I don't agree with the reasons, but I can see the logic in what they were thinking.
What are the reasons?
What's the logic? What's the logic?
Explain.
How did he do this?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it, but basically, from alleged sources, allegedly what occurred is that when Chelsea wanted to sign Tchouaméni, is that he wanted to come in and be guaranteed first team football after just winning the Champions League, having had Jorginho be one of the best midfielders in the world, according to a lot of journalists. Kante, who had like one of the best performances in the Champions League run in a while, and Kovacic, who I still think is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. He's very underappreciated. It was hard to guarantee Tchouaméni first team football because, you know, all those three players were performing probably at their best that they had in a very long time. So when we offered the contract to Tchouaméni, it was like, you're probably going to come in and sit on the bench and then we'll see whether you can get game time. He didn't want that, and we couldn't guarantee that football. Obviously, the season then happened. Jorginho, you know, came off the high and like found his level. Kante got very injury prone. But the point is that you can't guarantee that was going to happen. Again, I personally would have done it because, you know, 40 mil, young player, a lot of potential. That's just a good person to have. Whether he's unhappy or he's not, like when he gets on the field, it'll probably contribute something. But I can see the reasoning as to why instead of going for that, they went, you know what, let's just wait an extra year, stick with this person who we know can be an option off the bench, and then go with that.
But do you know why that's? Do you know why I'm angry with that? It's because I was one of those few that said that. First of all, I believe that Jorginho needs to give back that UEFA award. He needs to give that back because that is theft. Because I was the only dude that said that, you idiots, this guy wasn't the reason Chelsea won the UCL. He wasn't the reason. He was a passenger. He just managed just to grab onto an amazing train. So for things that, screw that clown, Frodinho, Tchouaméni, yeah, you're going to play instead of this clown, 100%. So the fact that you said, oh, Jorginho, he's one of the best in the world, we're going to keep him over a young player with his potential, just shows it just...
It's poor planning, but it's not Marina's job. It's the scouts. My personal beef is not with Marino. My personal beef is with scouts.
Then your personal beef best. What did Saul do? You would have been better off going into the season underprepared without Saul in the squad. What did he do apart from Luton?
No, fully. Like he's again one of the worst signings we've had in a long time. Like
I still need to apologise for being so on his hype train last summer. I wanted him.
I wanted him. Yeah, I wanted him.
Olu here, guys, says that do Chelsea actually need a traditional number 9 under Tuchel ball? I feel Jesus could fit well, but we need more quality attackers around him. I think that's what we kind of alluded to in that conversation.
Chelsea just needs someone who guarantees goals. You just need someone who, when it's tight, when you're going to get one chance and you can feed it to anyone, you feed it to that player. Right now, even if it fell to Havertz, who I think your best finisher is, I'm not confident on it going in.
Our top goal scorer can't have 13 goals in the Prem.
13?
Yeah.
Yes.
Your man was too distracted texting his ex, bruv. That's all that happened there.
That is wild.
They could have bought him and loaned him to Monaco. Listen, I know it's always annoying when it happens, but the Man United, I remember reading, if we'd have bid £500,000 more, we'd have got Ronaldinho. But then would have missed out a year later on Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, some people would say Ronaldinho would have been better, but you never quite know. And this is what you might find with Chelsea. You miss out on Tchouaméni, but you might bring somebody else through or buy someone else in a year. And you might look back in 3 or 4 years' time and go, I'm so glad we didn't get him. I'm not saying you will, but that's happened in football as well. Hindsight's lucrative. Dexter here says, give me strength. Irina is not a scout. She gets told, get me player X and Y, and she negotiates with the club agents to get the best deal, is what Dexter says.
Then why did she win that Ballon d'Or award? What's that Ballon d'Or award for?
No, she just collects the award.
No, that award, if you win best director of football, that's for being good at negotiating and doing your job, right? Not for being the best scout Directors of football. The irony in it is, Man United had someone pretending to be a director of football that also thought he knew better than the scouts, and that was Ed Woodward. Like that's doing it the wrong way. Egal here says top 4 or Europa Champions League win minimum, Terry. I get that, but I almost guarantee you, if we get to like May, maybe earlier, April, and Arsenal go out of the Europa League, out of the cups, 5th in the league, 6-7 points behind the top, I guarantee you there'll be excuses made by the masses as to why that's okay. That's not you, Egal. I guarantee. I'm talking Arsenal in generality here. I think that will happen. Strip Bear says, if I had a choice, Mama Flossie, mod, she has the best temperament and attitude, boss on this, my soul. I don't know what you... Mama Flossie is a great member of the football Terrace, so big up to yourself, Mama Flossie. Arsenal need to look at someone like Ollie Watkins, Tony, who's Jonas?
Jonas Wind from Copenhagen, I think.
I think he's going to Wolfsburg, hasn't he? I think he was the Weghorst replacement.
Yeah.
Maybe.